Well, everyone, it's not Monday. Let me tell you that because there was just so much stuff that happened. So me and Brandon thought it was only right to make like an emergency pod on a Friday night because we love you guys, all the supporters out there. Um, please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff because we care about you guys and just holy crap to this freaking weekend. We thought we were on schedule.
Madness.
We thought we were on schedule starting Monday,
Yeah,
and then the world blew up, like pretty much. I mean,
basically.
like take a dart and throw it, and we could start anywhere: basketball, football, baseball. I think we should just start with football because I feel like that's the most news.
Yeah, I mean that's fair because we thought Monday was bad enough, or I did when Calvin Ridley got banned for a year, and then it got worse. But yet good, better at the same
It
time,
got
depending on how
better.
you look at
More
things.
news. More news.
Yeah, yeah,
This is the more fun news. This is the more fun news,
it's true.
not ban or whatever. But I think
Yeah,
we should just start from the beginning of the week.
let's do it. Let's start Tuesday.
The news that
Massive
started it
deal.
all. News that
Massive
started it
deal.
all. Aaron Rodgers returning back, making him the highest paid quarterback. I believe it's 200 million.
200 million, 153
100,
guaranteed, if I
yeah, something like
recall.
that.
Yeah.
So he could get
With
up to
so basically,
200.
yeah. So basically, he's getting paid 50 million a year, which is just, I mean, must be nice. And then he gets his top receiver back too. They franchise tagged him
Franchise tag
afterwards.
Devontae
Yeah,
Adams. Yeah,
which you did call. Congratulations, you were right. You're
I
doing
had
better.
to.
Yeah. I mean, it's you can't not franchise tag him if you signed Aaron Rodgers.
Absolutely.
But I'm gonna let you talk first because I know you, when it comes to Aaron Rodgers, is a bit
It's
more
a bit
hostile
sensitive.
due to due to
The
the
Detroit
division.
and me. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So, okay, I get it. Like Aaron Rodgers, I feel like, I feel like every year there's something with this guy. But in the last 10 years, you haven't done anything in terms of a Super Bowl. Like, if you're that good, you have to win a Super Bowl. I believe this is 200 mil for the next 4 years, right? So
Yeah.
50, up to
Yeah.
50 million for the next 4 years. You got your guy, Devontae Adams, back. You got your money. You were already making money. I think he was the highest paid until they all started becoming the next, like every
Yeah.
quarterback
He
that
was.
signed
Yeah. Like
became. So this
yeah.
is the second time. And I think when was his last year? I think it was like
Was
4 or 5 years ago,
I
something like
want
that.
2015, 2016, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he made it to three NFC championships, at least three NFC championship games, and lost all of them. It's Super Bowl or bust. Like at this
Yeah.
point, if he doesn't win the Super Bowl, we need to stop talking about Aaron Rodgers the same way we talk about Tom Brady, the same way we talk about some of those greats. He could be potentially his ceiling if he doesn't win a Super Bowl is he's better than Peyton Manning. Like that might be the conversation. Peyton Manning was one of the best considered regular season quarterbacks, and maybe that's all he is. Maybe that's all this guy is. If he can't, he should at least win 2 Super Bowls within the next year or 4 years. If he
That's
can't
fair.
even get that and he gets one, he did his job. And we're going to talk about the next trade that happened after this. I think
Yeah.
within the hour, right? Something like that. And maybe
I
that's a
feel like it was
separate
like one.
conversation.
Yeah. I mean, it was every day was just more and more news. But no, you are correct when it comes to he has to win a Super Bowl. I feel the problem with this is there's so many teams that are going all in right now. So
Yeah.
you could, I mean, at this point, you could say I mean, right now at the current moment, there's 2, 3 teams that you have to win a Super Bowl or you're a bust this year. But with him, I think the only reason I'm going to give Aaron Rodgers 2 years to win a Super Bowl is because they didn't trade for him, so they still have draft picks.
Okay.
So yes, he needs to win. I agree, he has to win them. But like this year, if you can bring a couple more draft picks in and make it where your team is even that much better, year 2, year 3, those are your like. It's weird to say that Aaron Rodgers could not win the Super Bowl and then win the next 2 afterwards, and it'd be like, okay, that's fine. But it's the same concept. You said 2 of the next 4, so it'd still be 2 of the next 4. If they had traded for him, such as the next team we're going to talk about, then it's this year. You traded away, like if you traded away all your draft picks, it's this year. But because they didn't trade, I feel like they still like Like their defense can definitely improve. You can give him more weapons. So I think it depends how they go in the draft. If they go offense, it's this year. If they go defense, they're prepping for like the later half of the deal, of his 4-year deal to win it all.
But even then, like I'm with you on that. But I think it's even worse because of the trade. Because last year in the last 2 years he was MVP, and he was
Yeah.
also in NFC Championship games. For the last
That's
3
true.
seasons, he won 13 games because in the game they added a game to it. So he was 13
Yeah.
and 3 for 2, and then 13 and 4 for the
Yeah.
last season. He has it. Like he has
No,
the
you're right.
teams. So it's not like there should be any buildup. Honestly, like
That's
I've
fair.
been hearing people saying like, okay, they need to get 2 of the 4. I think this year is Super Bowl or bust, especially for the drama queen that is Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
Who is to say
that's true.
that he's not going to demand a trade? Who's going to say that he's going to have not
Yeah.
in the offseason not have the same type of drama under contract? That's what he did for the last 3 years. And you're in the NFC Championship games for the last 3. You choked. You couldn't score more than 10 points in the freaking NFC Championship game against Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, that's so there's so many questions. Matthew Stafford literally leaves the Lions because he has no help. Like the Lions and goes to the
That no,
team.
you're 100% correct.
So the Packers, you're going to be facing Kirk Cousins, who also could be on the move. Maybe that's something that happens between now and Monday.
Yeah.
We could be talking about the Bears. Justin Fields, like, yeah, he's good, but that was another trade that happened on their defense that we're going to have to break down today.
Yeah.
They're not the same. And then you got the freaking Jared Goff, like, okay, we're nothing. We know that, right? So, like, you have the easiest path to it.
We're nothing.
There is no reason why you shouldn't win out in the division. You could be, again, that's 6 games right there. You could be possibly, depending on how the other games shake out, how you perform. David Bakhtiari is coming back. Devontae, you have back. Aaron Jones is still there. Allen Lazard, whatever you want to talk about the weapons, he's had him for the last 3 years and they've been doing good. I mean, you make it to the NFC Championship game, you should be pretty decent. Like, it's not like me and you playing. It's like people playing, right?
Yeah.
All that to be said, if you don't win the Super Bowl this year, to me, what is going to make him want to stay? Because realistically, you're saying they could go offense. In the last 4 years, I mean, they drafted Jordan Love 3 years ago, right? So, like,
2 years ago, but yeah.
2 years ago. So, like, they've proven that they're not going to draft well. The organization that you signed up to come play for, you know that. What's going to change? Like, now, all of a sudden, because, you know, you made a huge scene and now Brian Gutekunst is now your best friend, like there is no ever problems in Green Bay. I highly doubt that. You got your money. I want to see something. Win me the freaking Super Bowl, and then we're talking. And the NFC, like the NFC in general, is not the same.
Well, I was going to say, the NFC got a little weaker. And I think as much as I would love to continue talking about Aaron Rodgers, I'd rather not.
Because there's so much more.
Because there's so much more. And this one, let me pull up, because I know I sent you this screenshot and you just replied was just in shock. Russell Wilson gets traded, which we kind of saw coming. To the Broncos for, oh my God, much. I'll just read this out while I know we've read this over, but I'm going to read up. So the Broncos got Russell Wilson and a 4th-round pick. They traded away Drew Lock, Noah Fant, Shelby Harris, 2 first rounds, 2 second rounds, and a 5th round. Oh my God.
God is right.
So while we thought that was how the day was going to end, the night ends with Bobby Wagner as well getting cut from the Seahawks. Seahawks are complete rebuild. And this I have not told you. I saw this today. I'm pulling it up as well.
Is it DK Metcalf?
No.
Okay.
Bobby Wagner apparently on Twitter said, craziest part about all this, I played there for 10 years and I didn't even hear it from them that I wasn't coming back. Yeah. So while you're in shock right now that you cut one of the best players from your team ever, I didn't tell them. Russell Wilson, Broncos, in my opinion, Broncos are Super Bowl win or bust now. They have to. They have to. You traded away your entire future. You pulled a Rams. They have to. You can't trade for Russell Wilson and give away 2 firsts and 2 seconds and not win the Super Bowl. Do I think they're going to though? No.
Okay. Wow. Okay. I was not expecting you to say that. See,
I don't think they're going to win it.
I think they have time though. Like,
They
okay,
have time, but
Javonte
go ahead.
Williams, he's still on his rookie deal. Cortland Sutton, I think he was on the end of his rookie deal. They have Jerry
I think so.
Judy, I believe, right? Or
Yeah. Yeah.
one of those that draft.
Yeah. Knows
He's
Judy.
still
Yeah.
on his-
Because he was emotional, right? He tweeted upset when Aaron Rodgers signed again. And he was like, oh, never mind. This is lit when he got Russell Wilson.
So you still have him.
Emotions.
He's like, yeah, you got rid of Noah Fant, but like, okay, I know he was a big piece for them, but like you could sign someone else, and like
Yeah.
you're not going to play that way. Good offensive line. I think their defense is a lot weaker now that they don't have Von Miller.
Well, so that's the other thing. Now, I was waiting for you to mention Von Miller has tweeted multiple times that he would want to go back and get his old jersey back if they would like. I think Von Miller's down.
Oh.
Von Miller, I feel like would love to go back to being a Bronco. He's got another ring. He's
Yeah.
the man in the Super Bowl is insane.
Yeah.
So he could go there. If he goes back there,
To end his career, you think? You think he
yeah,
might try to end?
and I could see that.
Okay.
But so how many years do you think you would get the Broncos before they have to win a Super Bowl before this is a bust?
I think I think 2 years. I think not this
Okay.
season, but next season it's Super Bowl or bust. Because I mean, let's just look at that division. Like that division, just 4 quarterbacks right away. Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Derek Carr, and now you just throw in freaking Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson. Yeah.
So
It's
this
insane.
could go anyway. And
He could.
I mean, we're going to talk about the Chargers in a second.
Yeah.
But I mean, these quarterbacks, what, like these, like I think like this might be the best division, even better than when the an AFC North had all 4 of them winning records. The
Yeah.
Browns, Steelers, like
Yeah.
any one of them could have won. I think this might be a situation.
Oh,
if they
I agree.
can,
I do
the
agree.
whole division makes it to the playoffs, like somehow. Like I mean, if everyone splits and they all win out, they're like this. Like
The problem is
I wouldn't be
Derek Carr could
surprised.
also be traded away. Derek Carr might not be the Raider by the time the season starts. There's been talk of him being traded away. So who knows?
it's just,
I
it could
wouldn't.
go
But
anywhere.
yeah.
It could go anywhere. I think 2 years though, because let Russell Wilson
That's fair.
fit in with the guys. They're younger. He's older, so like leadership that might take some time. This could really click, and I see them as like a 10 to 12 win team, depending on obviously the whole division, because
Yeah.
what happens, and it's so early. They could win 10 games, 12 games. That makes
Yeah.
sense to me.
100%.
I just don't know how that defense is going to develop. And if that defense has another year, I know they have they drafted Patrick Surtain. Like he's good.
Yeah.
They're not the worst, but they need more. You
I
just need
agree.
a little bit more.
I just feel like with the way the NFL is trending right now, with the amount that they gave up, if they don't go this year, it's a bust. While I do agree they have 2 years, I feel like in everyone's eyes it's going to be a bust with the fact that you because you're not going to have a first or second this year or next year. So
Okay.
at that point, you might as like if you think about like okay, I don't even know what position they were drafting in this year, but it doesn't matter. They're
Right.
gonna. I would have to look. I have no clue if they gave up their 5th or whatnot for this year. So for all we know, they have maybe 2 draft picks this year. You're not going to get any better next year than when it comes to your draft picks because
Right.
you're drafting late round players next year. Like I just feel like because of how like if they gave up 1 first and 1 second, then yeah, you have another year. But because you gave up 2 years in a row, basically, you don't necessarily want to like end up, in the NFC Championship and losing because congrats, you gave up the 28th pick. You'd rather give up the 32nd pick and then give like the Lions. You finally got the last pick in the first round. Congrats. Like I just feel like they're not going to go for, a playoff berth and just hope for the best. They're going for the win this year.
Yeah.
But I do agree there. I mean, Russell Wilson still has time. So it's not like he's done after this year. Like he still has plenty of time left. So, and he's not going to get beat up now. So who knows? He's not going to get
Absolutely.
sacked 60 times a game. But
And then
I'm
before we
still
even
shocked.
switch to the next guy, let's just see Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson. Who needs a Super Bowl more, in your opinion?
Personally, Aaron Rodgers. Team-wise, the Broncos, though.
Oh.
I
I'm the
like to switch it
exact
up on you.
opposite. I'm the
I
exact.
figured I knew you were.
I think Russell Wilson needs a Super Bowl more, but the Packers need the Super Bowl like as a team more.
The only reason I say Aaron Rodgers is more because if he doesn't, he's just going to go drama freak. Russell Wilson, if he doesn't win the Super Bowl, he can deal. He'll wait. Like he'll. You saw his commitment in Seattle. He didn't want to be traded away from Seattle. He said that publicly, even though you knew a rebuild was coming. So the personality is so different. That's why I say it.
Okay. I think though for Russell Wilson, like when he won the Super Bowl the first time, who gets more credit, him or the Legion of Boom?
Oh, Legion of Boom, 100%.
So technically, he didn't win his
Yeah.
team the Super Bowl, which is why I think
That's
he
fair.
needs it.
That's fair.
So for his legacy, I think he could win multiple, depending on
Yeah.
how everything shakes out with the AFC. If he wins multiple, he might be pushing himself over like an Aaron Rodgers. I just think Aaron Rodgers at this point, like he's a regular season player. Like he's
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the NBA equivalent of him, but it's not crossing my mind. Like Giannis before he won the first chip. Like he's gonna get
That's
these
fair.
numbers. Let me see it in the playoffs. I don't know.
That's fair.
I have to see it from him.
That's
Also,
fair.
frick the Packers because like the Lions are gonna win the Super Bowl. So
Okay, let's not go to 2050 yet. Calm down. Let's
Oh,
talk
man.
about someone who has a chance to win the Super Bowl. The freaking Chargers. Holy crap. They just gave Joey Bosa the best birthday, Christmas, Hanukkah, Easter,
Christmas,
Valentine's,
all
everything.
of it.
I was in such disbelief when I saw this trade. Honestly, I was like, there's no way.
I'm trying to pull up the trade details as you're talking.
I don't even know the trade details for this one. All I know is that Khalil Mack, one, he's going to have someone on his line now to help him just destroy people. And two, he's going back to a division where he's going to play the Raiders twice.
Just look at that.
Yeah.
Looks fresh as hell.
Khalil Mack is going to play the Raiders twice, who originally traded him away. They should be worried for their own sanity and lives. But the Chargers they still get draft picks. Justin Herbert's just now like, give me one more offensive line now and we're done. That's all we need.
Yeah.
I was so shocked by that trade. I'm still shocked by this trade, actually.
So
The more
here's
I
the
think about it.
details of it. Here's it. It
Okay.
can even shock you even more.
Oh God.
The Bears have agreed to trade the star edge rusher to the Chargers in exchange for a 2022 second-round pick and a sixth-rounder in 2023.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah.
So for 2 picks, the cap was
One late pick too. It's not like a first and a second. It's a second and a sixth.
That was a steal. The Chargers won that.
100%. Now
1,000%.
here's the only counter offer now. As much as I love Khalil Mack and I love him a lot, he has to perform now. If he doesn't perform, like we don't know if there's some like background info or something that we don't know about. I think this trade is amazing for the Chargers. But if he underperforms immensely, the Bears are going to look like geniuses, basically. They saved money. They got 2 more draft picks. So, I mean, we'll just see. I still think the Chargers do great, though.
That's a good point.
Like something we got to look at both sides of it.
Why would the Bears be willing to get rid of him?
Yeah. Like it's like just quickly, it's like Calvin Ridley almost became an Eagle, and then the Falcons had to back out and they couldn't tell anyone why like a month ago. And then we find out later because he was going to get banned for a year, and I'm sure the Falcons have been punished for trading him away knowing he was going to get banned. So it's like we don't know everything, and no one's announced anything of it. But at the time being,
at the time
boom,
being, it's
Chargers.
like
Boom.
They won it. But this is also my thinking, like, and let me know how you feel. Like, there is a point in time where it was Aaron Donald and Khalil Mack.
Yeah.
How much are we still influenced? And that was like, what, 3 years ago when they get traded to the Bears? It was Khalil Mack. I mean, Mitchell Trubisky was their quarterback. And Aaron Donald. You know?
That's part of the debate of why I'm like, he's fallen off a bit, yes, but he still has an impact. And with Joey Bosa being on his line, maybe it's enough. Maybe it's enough to make him back to how he was. Because it's like Aaron Donald. You put anyone with Aaron Donald and they just get better. You put someone with Joey Bosa, they're going to get better. Not the same extent because Joey Bosa is not quite not
Aaron
quite
Donald.
God, I can't think of his name. Yeah, Aaron Donald. But it's the same concept.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think, I think the Bears that year, when they first got Khalil Mack and Mitchell Trubisky was their quarterback, we thought they could make it a deep
Oh yeah.
playoff run. We thought this
Well, we
might be,
did it because they picked Mitchell Trubisky, so we didn't. But
but like we thought that
yeah,
like
no,
they were like the old Bears of like the Bears of old. Like they're gonna
yeah,
win the Super Bowl based off of defense. So it's not like he didn't have help, which is I think maybe back to your point, what's going on behind the scenes? Is he still the same? Is he still whatever? With my head going crazy, Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack, I think could be like the lesser version of Von Miller and Aaron Donald.
yeah, I do agree. And I
And
think the only difference though, like, well, not in that, but like in Chicago, his help was more in the linebackers. Like
yeah,
they have, this is going to be on the defensive line with him. So I think that's going to be the bigger. Like they still had great pieces in Chicago on the line, but they had some studs as
that's a great
linebackers.
point. That's a great point.
So this is going to help him more just because the you can't double team him and Joey Bosa, and if you do, whoever else is on the line is just going to run straight at Justin Herbert and say hi.
Yeah,
So it's, I think overall it's still a great trade for both. I think both teams because the Bears are still somewhat going to be in a rebuild. Let's just be real.
yeah,
Justin Fields needs another year.
yeah.
This gives you the chance to get more weapons on the offense, and you can also draft defensive players. It's not like you don't have draft picks. So,
Right.
but it's gonna be interesting.
Before we switch the topic,
Okay.
so I want to talk about the whole division now.
Yeah. Oh, hands down. Please,
I feel
let's
like
go.
we have to, but
Yeah.
before we say that, we kind of glossed over Bobby Wagner, and the reason why I'm bringing him up
Okay.
is I know there's been rumors that Dan Quinn from Dallas is trying to get him to come out there,
Yeah.
which could be great. But what are your thoughts, Bobby Wagner becoming a Kansas City Chief? That's what that team needs. They need someone on defense other than the Honey Badger and someone in that linebacker position to help out Frank Clark. And I forget the other guy's name. I mean, I'm feeling it.
I like it.
Thinking it.
I like it. I hadn't thought. I like the thought of it, but will it happen is the only question. I don't know how Kansas City's cap space and stuff is the other thing. Like, I have to look into that more. And that's definitely something we can talk about at a later date once the draft comes around, and even if how Trace, because is he gonna take a pay cut or is he gonna want to get paid one big payday? That's the question.
Yeah.
Like if he goes on a 1-year deal to prove himself, I can see Kansas City. But if it's gonna be a long term, I don't think Kansas City can afford it right now.
And I think,
but I'd have to look into that though.
Because I think they still have money because they were looking at running backs like Christian McCaffrey. They were like,
yeah, but that's in a trade also though. That's in a trade though, so you still have the contract that he's on.
But what I'm saying is, what if he gets signed to like a team, just like like a sign and trade type of thing, or I don't think wherever he goes, like unless he goes to Dallas, he will actually want to stay there. I think he's at a point where he wants a chip, but he could get the money from there and funnel it in. I think that happened before. Like I know it happens in basketball sometimes. Like
yeah.
So I don't know how it works exactly in the NFL, but
that's definitely an interesting thought. I mean,
it would work because then it would just take the division and like flip it even more. Like already it's in pieces because it's like who's gonna win? And that's my question to you, man. Like who is gonna be coming out of the AFC West this year?
The problem is I still need to see the rest of the offseason.
Right.
But if
currently
I were
constructed.
as current, go ahead, write this down. We could say this as a bet, or we can say this as like the prelim bet.
Prelim bet for sure.
I honestly think it's gonna still be the Chiefs. I think they're still the most complete team. I think in a year though from now, maybe not. But for now, I still think the Chiefs.
Okay.
Also, apologies, my headset is dying. I must plug this in, otherwise I will lose all of you.
You know what? I was gonna say the Chiefs too. I think they're in a similar situation. I was gonna say for this season, the Chiefs, they're in a similar situation as the Packers.
Yeah.
You need to win something. The Rams just did something. The Bucks just did something. You don't want to, have people get frustrated. But if we're gonna talk like currently constructed, I think the Chargers could
I
definitely come
figured
out
you
of
would.
it.
I also
Because
just can't bet against Mahomes yet.
okay, and that's fair. I just feel like Herbert
Yeah.
is due. Like he just got left out
That's
of
fair.
the last two playoffs. Joe Burrow just made it to the Super Bowl. I believe they're in the same draft class. I think he's ready. Like
Yeah.
I think he's
That's fair.
ready for a good season.
It's definitely one of those two.
Yeah.
As much as the Broncos need to win it, I don't think they will. And unfortunately for Derek Carr and the Raiders, I feel like they're the ones that are going to get left in the dust if a team does.
Yeah. I think there's just too much turnover.
actually,
they
though-
need a big name wide receiver to come in to kind of fill the
While
role
we're-
of Henry Ruggs.
I need to check this for sure, but I believe that the Raiders actually signed. Yeah, the
They
Raiders
re-signed
locked up.
Crosby.
Yeah, 4 years, 95 million. So they locked up their defensive end. They're making sure they still have a chance, which is good for
Yeah.
them. Because if he got away, which I mean, he's still in contract, but a good extension, by my opinion.
Absolutely. He was a stud. He was absolutely a
oh, yeah.
stud.
Apparently,
I just think
also
that offense isn't as up
yeah,
to
no,
par.
yeah. So I think we got to see how they draft. Which I mean, it's kind of cliche to say that. I feel like I've said it a few times, but it's true. You got to see how teams draft.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
I
that's
think
not
this
even.
trade-
I'm going to put the Chiefs and Chargers.
Yeah. While you do this, I can't wait to hear your views on this next trade because I know you are
Shut
so
up.
excited.
Please stop
So-
talking. We're not going to talk about this.
No, we're talking about it because it brings me joy to know that your team, the Washington Commanders, have traded for
Even the
who-
name, even the freaking name. Oh,
I would
my
like you to
God.
say who they traded for. Please tell me, who did they trade for?
One Sylvania.
Your team has Carson Wentz. Who? Listen, if this works out, you will bite your tongue with joy. But why?
This ain't gonna work out. Why we're gonna act like it has any hope? Why we're gonna act like the Indiana Colts? They had the best leading rusher in the league. They had a decent defense and they had a decent wide receivers. And they said no. They said, and that was his old quarterback coach.
We don't need to talk too much because it's not going to work out. Congrats, the Colts just robbed the Washington Commanders.
What was the details on that trade?
I wonder if I still have it in a text to you.
Because that's important to me. I just saw it. Where is it?
The package is thought to include 2 third-round picks, I believe. So it's not.
And a third. That was what it was. It was a guaranteed second, a guaranteed third, and a possible third if
another
Carson
third.
Wentz
Okay.
plays 70% of games. It becomes a second.
I mean,
was the
he'll play.
contingency.
He'll play. Y'all just will lose still.
Honest, like this is how did we go from Russell Wilson to Carson Wentz within 4 days?
I know. And I honestly, I was fully anticipating the Colts to make a trade for Matt Ryan the second they got rid of Carson Wentz.
I would love that.
As much as I would hate to see him go, because I'm a big Matt Ryan fan, it would be so good for him. But apparently that's not in the works. So for now, your team is trash, and my team has a missing wide receiver in jail, and
this is
not
all I
literally
will
jail,
say
but
though. Carson Wentz has the number on the Cowboys. Like when he was on
that's
the
true.
Eagles, like he could beat them. I don't think the Eagles are gonna. I mean, we're gonna talk about the news of today for sure. but I don't know. I don't think the Giants have Daniel Jones. Okay, we're fine. Carson Wentz over just what's the guy's name? On the Eagles.
Hurt.
Just
Jalen Hurt.
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen. Yeah.
I would take Carson over that. Dak or Carson. That's the question that's been happening all the time. You have Scary Terry. You have Chase Young. I mean,
You're picking Dak. You're picking Dak over Carson. I'm sorry.
Son of a gun. The person that I wanted to get, which just came out today, that all criminal charges, which is important to say, all criminal charges for Deshaun Watson have been dropped with not enough evidence to support any claim.
Yep.
So all the criminal charges got complete. Now, I feel like it's just important to say, because this is the first time we're talking about something this serious. Sexual assault is not fun. It's actually like you're a piece of crap. If like that's
it's very bad. Yeah.
Now we're also firm believers that like you're innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
But like we're not naive to say like 22 cases and you're telling me you're innocent. It's sticky. But this is a good first step. I mean, Deshaun Watson said right when all these cases came out, like, I'm not going to defend myself, but like in the court of law, I will defend myself. So he said like he did nothing. It's just hard when it was 1, 2. You say that, okay, cool. 20 more after that. But this is a good first step. And I believe this now makes him eligible to play.
I think so. I have to look though to see if he's still on like a commissioner's non-exempt list or whatnot.
Okay.
Because I know the commissioner has a few people on that list, but I have to look into that. I think it's going to look more into if teams start calling about him.
They could acquire him, right?
Yeah, then that's going to be in conversation of will he be able to play? Will he have like a 3 or 4 game suspension before he can play for me or whatnot? Because that's what matters. Right. If he gets a suspension for 4 or 5 games, or for some whatnot, a team will still want him. But you're going to need to have a decent backup. But if he has like a 10-game suspension, I think he sits in Houston for another year. Because no team wants to trade. I just feel like no one, like people will probably, but who are you going to trade? Like, who's going to be like, all right, my quarterback's good enough to win us most of the games. But when it comes to this back half of the season, we're going to be enough in the playoffs, like Hunt, that he's going to like clinch it for us. Like you would have to go 5-5 and then win out.
Yeah.
So it's rough.
I don't know though. I again, this literally just happened, I think at 6 o'clock today, 5 o'clock. So like still a lot more details to come out. A few questions for me. Okay, now criminal charges done. Okay, but what about all those like I forget what below, we're not lawyers. Whatever
the non-criminal ones.
The non-criminal ones. If he gets convicted of that, what happens to him?
That's
Now, we have to figure that out, because if he gets convicted and of the non-criminal charge and he's on a new team, what happens from that? I think, if nothing happens and he's just on the new team and then he gets suspended for a year, I think teams honestly within the week, Deshaun Watson will get traded, because I feel like now he's hot property. Aaron Rodgers just went in. Russell Wilson just got in. I mean, the only big name quarterback that could possibly come out is retired Tom Brady. That might go to the 49ers. We don't know yet. I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo is that answer. Like everyone else, like the top tier is gone. Really.
That's fair. Yeah. I mean, there's still plenty of quarterbacks that can be traded. And I do think Deshaun Watson, if he can play, he will be traded. But also it's going to be the same thing as Calvin Ridley. You can't trade him until you know for sure. Like the Falcons couldn't trade Calvin Ridley because they knew that a suspension was coming, and you're not going to trade them without the team knowing the suspension like guidelines, because it's just, I feel like you're going to be punished for that point.
So but like Miami tried to trade for him. Miami tried to trade for him last year, and they knew the consequences, but the team that wasn't responding was Houston. They didn't want to give him up.
Yeah.
So I saw reports that Carolina's in the looking for him. The Saints are
Carolina apparently is talking to Cam Newton again. So I'm not too concerned when it comes to Carolina. But yeah, no, it's going to be interesting, because he's a great quarterback and people still want him to play for them. But when is he going to be able to play for you is the question. So. And
he's still 4 more years left on that contract, right?
Yeah, he's still. I think 3 or 4. Yeah, so there's still plenty of time for you to control before free agency or
Because the
re-upping his contract.
suspension didn't take away in the years. It got just pushed, I believe.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'd have to look more into it, which we can do at a later date.
Yeah.
Once we know more details and whatnot too, because I mean that I'm sure there's gonna be plenty to talk about when it comes to him from the larger sports people
I mean,
knowing
that
way more
was
than us. But
just
that,
from
yeah, I was.
Tuesday till like 5 o'clock today. And we still have to know where Kirk Cousins, Jimmy Garoppolo, Derek Carr might go. Christian McCaffrey still being looked at. Saquon Barkley still being looked at. What a freaking offseason.
Yeah,
And
I mean it's insane. Draft's coming up still. I'm excited for that. And then while all this was happening, we had a little team from New York in basketball travel down to Philly. And I will quote Kevin Durant here. We ran them. They're not a real good transition team. Buddy.
Dude.
The Nets ran the 76ers. He ain't
The
wrong.
whole game, I'm thinking Brandon must be shaking in his pants because I have them coming out of the East, and they certainly look like a team that could come out of the freaking East.
Like, oh no!
I'm coming for you, Jimmy. I'm coming for you. My
there
boys
were
are ready.
so many things I heard though of we played that game for Ben, like we did it for Ben Simmons, like multiple people from the Nets. So that plus the fact that James Harden pulled the normal James Harden in a big game. The man shot horrendously.
Yeah.
I didn't expect a blowout, but
Not
I did
at all.
expect the Nets to win that. But they might make it out of the East, but I still just don't see it. But I still just don't like.
Okay, so
they had a great game. They had a great game. A great game. Congrats.
First of all, I was scared for Joel
away.
Embiid's life when he and Kevin Durant bumped into each other. Joel Embiid decided to push him with his butt a little bit. I mean, Durant looked like a freaking thug just in his face, like, oh, it's freaking on. Drops. I forget what he finished with, 25, something like that.
I can look it up, but yeah.
I mean, you saw that move Kevin Durant did around Embiid on that layup on that, I think second quarter. I mean, okay. So I think I have to not apologize to Durant because like this guy has so much more things to do. But I never liked Durant. Ever since he went to the Warriors, I couldn't stand him. But let me tell you, after yesterday, I like him a little bit, man. I mean, like I will always give him his props. He's a great scorer. He's a great athlete. I mean, you're 6'9" with a 7'1" wingspan, whatever it is. Like you shoot like that, and you could pull up from 30. You could drop 20 like points off of 4 shots or whatever. Like he's insane.
25 points, 14 rebounds, 7 assists.
Off of what?
2 steals, 1 block on 32 minutes.
And what was his free throw? What was his he made how many shots out of how many?
He made 10 of 17 field goals, 3 of 6 3-points, and 2 of 3 free throws.
I mean, this guy's efficient as
It's efficient, yeah.
So okay. Also, he stood by Kyrie. Let me tell you, Kyrie looked like $1 million. Yes, like he looked like he was worth part-time. He was playing defense on James Harden. I know there was reports that came out, him and Harden never clicked. They were fighting sometimes, and like the coaches had to separate them. Well, let me tell you, Kyrie looked like he's the better. Like KD made the right decision. Now you're just going to add Ben Simmons to that, and you know what? I'm not even going to talk about the big three: Bruce Brown, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, Claxton. This is without Joe Harris, by the way.
Yeah.
This team has depth. And that 100%. Is why I really feel comfortable. Seth Curry dropped 20-something last night. I don't think the big two, Kyrie and KD, had more than 27 points. But I think like they had 4 or 5 guys that had at least 20 points.
Yeah, I mean they were clicking all cylinders last night.
And you're gonna add Ben Simmons to that, where he doesn't have to shoot, but everyone else could shoot. All he has to do is get out in transition. That's what this team could do, and that team could, like, they're in the 8th seed now. They could get to the 7th seed. Yeah. I think that's what it is. And I think they still have space to get to that 6th seed. I think there's still enough time for them to get in that 6th seed and beat out Cleveland. How many games behind are they from Cleveland?
4.5. So
I mean,
it's It's possible.
possible.
They have to go on a run. They've won 2 in a row now, which is good. They're like 6 of 20 though, their last 25, 26 games almost. So it's not looked
Yeah.
good. But they
Yeah.
do have such big players that they definitely could make a run. Yeah. So
I think it's more of an indictment on Philadelphia for sure. And
Yeah.
I know this is now back to your news, but I just want to say James Harden didn't look good. Also, is he going to run out of Philadelphia if nothing happens from this? Like, there's just so many. This is
all
their
know
first
one.
hard game.
Yeah.
This is his first hard game.
Yeah. We all know, 1, I don't like James Harden, 2, I don't like Philadelphia. So I'm not upset.
But this just talk about from being upset, not being upset, to being ecstatic for you. Like, you tell me, man. Like, you break down this whole last thing, because this was, I think, on Friday or
this
not
this
Friday,
was yesterday.
Thursday.
This was yesterday.
Thursday.
Yeah. So I woke up Thursday morning. I'm pulling up the screenshot. I woke up Thursday morning and I was a little upset because I woke up hearing that baseball was going to be canceled even more.
Right.
And then I was like, okay. I went to work and I was like, yay. This isn't great. I'm gonna miss the first home series for the Braves. It is what it is. But this is what I then saw later in the day, that there is a tentative deal being reached and the baseball is going to be back. And at that point, I held my breath for about 2 hours at work. I was just like, don't tease me. I need baseball. And then the wonderful sport of baseball came back. And it just brought such joy to me. And at this point, I had no clue what was happening. I didn't know when the season was starting anything. And then I looked through, and the last I saw was opening day is April 7th. Great. It's a little back, but still.
Yeah.
It is going to be a 162 game season for this year, which I did not expect. I'm
Is
not
that
sure how this is.
normal? Forgive me.
Yeah,
Is that
162 is the
normal?
normal. Yeah, 162 is the normal. So as far as I know, that's supposed to happen. The universal DH, which is what we talked about a while back, which I'm very happy for. It means the Braves can get another hitter. Thank God. This makes me happy now. Back to 9-inning doubleheaders instead of the stupid 7-inning doubleheaders they had, because taking away 2 innings is massive.
Okay.
They had an extra base rule, which was the stupidest shit ever, where in extra innings a runner would start at second base. Why? So they took that away. Runners will not start on base in extra innings, and then they expanded the postseason to 12 teams. So there's going to be more baseball as a whole. I'm ecstatic. And then the problem now, though, is that I have to start stressing about Freddie Freeman if he's going to sign back with the Braves, which I'm praying. But I saw a report probably about an hour ago that the Dodgers are pushing hard for him. They're pushing hard for him, and
of course the Dodgers are.
Yeah. But I will let you. I'm gonna let you discuss what you think, and then I'm going to discuss. There's been a few signings already, but not too many. But go ahead.
So I think it's less of my point of view and more questions for you, because this news is, I still don't, like, I had to ask 162 because I know they changed it to like 70 games or something like that. I don't know baseball as much. So what happened with the CBA? Like, I know there was issues because the players wanted more of a cut.
Yeah.
Right.
So that part I haven't
on that front.
See, that part I have not seen. I've looked all over, and like, there's just, I don't know if the numbers have been released, or I might just be blind and haven't found them yet. But I know a big deal was the expanded playoffs, as well as I'm sure, like, as time comes over the next few days, a lot more details will come out. But clearly they came with enough of agreement on the CBA and other things that were major parts for this to work out.
Okay.
Because neither side was going to cave fully. They're just, players were prepared. They're like, this sucks. We want to play baseball, but we have to do what we want for the future generation of baseball. So I'm not sure on exact details, but I'm sure they will. So today technically was the first day of spring training. Teams were able to go back, and players were able to go to the spring training site. So there's still plenty of free agents, is the only thing. Like, there's still big name free agents out there.
Okay.
But I did see, let me see if I pull this up again. Let's see. So the Giants, San Francisco Giants signed a former White Sox pitcher to a 2-year, $44 million deal. And then Kershaw signed a 1-year, $17 million back with the Dodgers, which is the only
Okay.
two real signings I've seen so far. But I mean, you still have Freddie Freeman, Carlos Correa, plenty of other pitchers. Like you still have plenty of free agents out there. So it's going to be interesting because while spring training started, you have teams that are still trying to get players because it's going to be a weird spring training. It's going
It's
to be
going to
short
be
spring training.
like, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's less than a month for spring training, and you don't have everyone signed. Normally, by the time
Right.
spring training starts, everyone's signed. So it's going to be stress waiting to see who signs what. As much as I want it to happen all like right now, for the sake of no more emergency podcasts, which I'm okay if we have to do. If everyone signs, I'm just like, oh, we're doing one Tuesday also. It's the only way around it.
We're going to have to.
Yeah. So it's just exciting as a whole. The fact that the lockout was, I want to say it was neither 99 or exactly 100 days long,
Okay.
which is a fair bit. And I'll be sure by the time we talk next to have more details and everything researched on this because I'm sure there'll be more information given out soon. But I mean, baseball's back.
And it's back
needed.
in its totality too. I mean,
Yeah,
fullest
which is what
it's ever been.
which I'm
160.
which I'm confused about because there were 2 weeks canceled. So I'm trying to figure out how that's going to work out. So I'm not sure if it just means there's a bunch of more double headers or what. Because when Rob
and
Manfred
extended playoffs too. So
yeah, so it's because Rob Manfred, when he said he canceled games, he said they weren't going to make him up, but then it went back to 162. So I'm not sure what changed, but
yeah,
I'm not upset.
I'm
but-
glad that it's back because it's good for the sport. It's
Yeah.
good for its reputation, and you're extending the playoffs. Honestly, I know like there's some regular season basketball games I don't watch, so there's definitely going to be regular season baseball games people don't
I mean,
watch.
it's hard to watch 162 games.
But I mean, if you're going to have a 12-game playoffs, or 12-team playoffs, like that is massive. That's going to bring in money.
Yep.
That's going to be good for the sport because playoff baseball is the only time of year that I really just dig into it.
And
I'm going to
that's gonna
definitely
make it
dig
real
into it the
interesting.
regular season, but
Yeah.
that's going to be awesome.
It's going to be interesting to see. I'm looking to see the format to see what how the added teams are in the playoffs because at this point, like, is it possible you get 3 of the 4 teams from one division in the playoffs? Like, who knows? Like,
Yeah,
it's going to get interesting. 3 or 5, my bad. Like, yeah, 3 or 5 teams, like, which you could already technically with wild card. So do you get 4 or 5 now? Do you get is it going to be 2 stacked divisions? Is the NOS going to be like all in, and then you're going to it's going to be interesting. So once everything
Absolutely.
gets released, we'll have more on it, and I'm sure most people will. If y'all know anything, feel free to comment on it because I have missed things. It happens, but I mean, it's going to
This
be
is huge.
jam-packed.
This is huge.
It was a great week when it comes to sports, for
A
good or
busy
bad,
week.
depending on your view on things. Yeah.
I think me and your text chain has never looked more
Oh my gosh.
confusing.
Oh my
Baseball's
goodness.
back. Khalil Mack is gone. Carson Wentz is there.
The best part
Here's here.
is I was just sending you pictures of trades, and you were like, "What? How is this happening?" You're like, what? And then it
was my midterms week, and I walk out of a
know.
midterm, and he's like, "Baseball's back." I was like, "What?"
Yeah, you're like,
how?
what now? What happened? Please inform.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
And then I mean, we still have we said, 2 days from now, we got to make our brackets for our standard podcast on Monday. We have brackets in Champions League, which has been hard not to talk about Champions League, but we said we weren't going to. We said we're going to wait till Monday. So as well as, I guess, if people would like us to do 2 a week, I'm down to do 2 a week just because it makes it easier. I'm completely for it if the people want it.
Yeah, I mean, the bonus is a 45 to an hour podcast is different for 30. So if you guys want shorter content, like spurts real quick, and give it to us. Like, we want to hear this stuff. We're not just we're gonna talk sports regardless. Now we're just trying to help you guys out, listen to some sports. So comment, subscribe. We appreciate you guys, and we're gonna do our homework because there's so much more to freaking talk about this. What a busy time. But
what a busy time. It's only busier. It's only gonna get
Just
busy.
wait till March Madness comes in and just blows this all up.
Yeah, I
Selection
can't
Sunday
wait.
is gonna be huge. But we love you guys. We honestly, this has been a blast just doing this all of this.
Oh
And
yeah,
this will conclude episode 6. So
yeah.
all
And
right.
we'll be back Monday, normal
Monday,
time.
bright and early, but not really at night. But like Tuesday, you will see us bright and early.
Tuesday. Yeah,
Oh man.
wonderful.
But peace and blessings, everyone. Take care, and we'll see you
Have a
soon.
great weekend.